Tesla lowers the basic autopilot price by 65% in Canada, cutting the cost from 4,000 Canadian dollars to just 1,400 Canadian dollars in Canada. This 65% price reduction makes the upgrade significantly more accessible for Tesla owners who opted out of the feature at the time of the purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, Tesla stock is up about 5% today, breaking out to levels you have not seen since at least December 27th. So close to a month now. What's going on today? What do you need to know? I'll share it all with you in this video. If you did not watch the last video, I recommend you watch the video coming out at 8 p.m. tonight, because something big is coming soon for Tesla and the broader markets. And this, my friends, is a sign of that. We're just getting started. Tesla stock is at $434 per share at the time of recording this video, and it wouldn't surprise me if the last hour and a half or so of trading, you see a gamma ramp into the end of the day today, and Tesla could actually be closer to the 440s. So first and foremost, there is some Tesla news today, but I think a lot of this actually has to do with the Trump and China's president, their meeting. President Xi and Trump. So I'm going to read some of these headlines. If you have not already followed me on X, go ahead and follow me on X. It's Michael Tyler over there. Okay. Trump says he discussed TikTok with Xi. Completely separate note here. It looks like TikTok will be banned. Looks like the Supreme Court is upholding that, and they are not going to allow a delay period. You can see here, Supreme Court is upholding the TikTok ban. The app will be banned in the US on Sunday if not sold by its parent company. Okay. Now, Trump says their call between Trump and Xi was a very good one for both China and the US. And China's Xi says essence of China-US economic and trade relations is mutual benefit and a win-win. Confrontation and conflict should not be our choice. So I think the fact that China's president is really talking down the whole possibility of a trade war between the US and China is seen as very good news today for Tesla, for the broader markets, obviously for Tesla, because Tesla does a lot of business in China. I don't think even in a trade war scenario, Tesla would necessarily be targeted or would be, barred from doing business in China or anything like that. But it's good for, everyone from the market's perspective, from people's inflation expectations, right? Because without a trade war, we don't have aggressive tariffs on either side that would impact inflation. Because, Trump putting tariffs on China is one thing, but China retaliating and putting tariffs on the US, that's another completely different thing. And that could be a big problem. And it looks like we're getting further from that, not closer to that today. And that's really what I think is the biggest driver of markets today. China's President Xi said in a phone call with Trump, quote, "We both place great importance on our interactions and hope for a positive start to China-US relations during a new US presidential term." That sounds really good. Not even gonna lie. That does not sound like we're walking into a trade war. That doesn't even sound like we're gonna see broad-based tariffs. That sounds like maybe certain industries are going to, have some tariffs put on them, but not, a broad-based kind of huge tariff. Bank of America's Hartnett says Trump trade to shield US stocks from a plunge, which that's basically what I've been saying for a while now, that the last thing Trump wants is for the stock market to do bad. The last thing he wants is to be the guy that came in and ruined the bull market. So I'm not super concerned about bad policies, about policies that are going to, hurt the stock market. And I think Wall Street's gotten way too convinced that bad Trump policies are coming. And that's not a reality. Mike Investing on X says it's happening. I called the bottom on Tesla on January 2nd, and we have now officially broken out. This breakout has just begun, and no one understands how massive it will be. This is your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. $600 plus incoming by March. Mark my words. I also see the market on open imbalance. The S&P 500 positive 1.5 billion, Nasdaq 100 385 million, Dow 30 up 300 million, and the Mag 7 up 195 million. So right to start off the day today, there was some pretty positive inflows. And the two leaders, Trump and President Xi, agreed to establish strategic channels of communication and maintain regular contact on major issues of common interest to the two countries. December industrial production month over month came in at positive 0.9% month over month versus estimates of 0.3% month over month and 0.2% prior. Factory production up 0.6% versus 0.4% prior. Mining up 1.8% versus negative 0.5% prior. And utilities up 2.1% versus negative 0.7% prior. So potentially manufacturing starting to get a little bit better. Manufacturing is only 20% of the economy, so that's not like super important. Manufacturing's been in a recession for a long time, but if manufacturing does come back, it's going to mean a more even potential economy. Instead of it just being in services, maybe manufacturing comes back a bit. That would be positive. It is also being reported today that many people within the Trump economic team, including Scott Bessent and Hartnett, believe that tariffs should not be broad-based, that they should target specific industries, that will do the most good to bringing back U.S. manufacturing from China and other areas. Well, there's one person in particular on Trump's team that believes we should do a broad-based tariff. Now, Bessent even believes that we should do tariffs over the course of many months and not just all at once. Bessent is a hedge fund manager, or was a hedge fund manager. He worked for George Soros for a long time. Scott Bessent is the confirmation hearing that happened yesterday for the Treasury Secretary. I'm going to say that Trump's probably going to agree with him that tariffs, not all at once, not broad-based, with specific industries, is the right approach. And if that is the approach that we get after January 20th, Wall Street is going to love that, because that's not going to cause inflation. And I also think that is part of why Tesla stock is moving higher, is everyone got so convinced that inflation is going to be this big issue under Trump, and it's starting to look like it won't be, especially with the last CPI report that we just got. It is also being reported that there is now a 38% chance of a robotaxi launch in 2025. This is from Kalshi, a betting marketplace app. Also making the headlines today, a Tesla Model Y and FSD 13.2.2.1 detects a school bus with its stop sign extended on a wintry road, completely stops, then resumes driving after the bus's red lights have turned off and the people are cleared from the road. No interventions or disengagements. Chilean utility company Colbún has broken ground on its 260 million 228 megawatt-hour Tesla Megapack battery energy storage system in Camarões, northern Chile, the company said on Thursday. The battery is expected to start operations in mid-2026, delivering electricity equivalent to the consumption of 55,480 homes. Daily Kaz posted an article yesterday of a Tesla battery fire at Moss Landing power plant. They say, quote, while this is currently a fire at Moss Landing, which houses a 3,000 megawatt-hour battery storage facility, the world's largest, the facility on fire owned by Vistra Energy is not a Tesla Megapack facility. There is a separate 256 unit Tesla Megapack battery storage facility located next door, but the fire did not originate from Tesla's batteries or that facility. As of 8 p.m. tonight, that Tesla energy storage facility remains unaffected. This means the fire has no connection to Tesla or its Megapack product, making the headline below completely misleading. And they did go ahead and delete the article after, again, Elon Musk commented on this. Elon Musk says, to reiterate, the legacy news headlines are false. This fire has nothing to do with Tesla, and our Megapacks are operating well. Volkswagen is considering ways to deepen its partnership with Rivian, the German company's CEO told Spiegel magazine. Quote, for an example, we are thinking about sharing modules and bundling purchasing volumes. EVs accounted for 89% of all new passenger car sales in Norway in 2024, up from 82% in 2023. Tesla's Model Y was by far #1 best-selling car in the country, with the Model 3 at #2. And Tesla has extended their free lifetime supercharging for new Foundation Series Cybertruck orders to January 31st. And again, as I said in the last video, I believe this is really just because Tesla is getting ready to start production of the lower priced Cybertruck. So they're just trying to sell as many of these higher priced ones as they possibly can. It's kind of like the Model 3 and the Model Y. Tesla sells a lot more of those, not because they are better vehicles than the Model S or X. I think anyone, if price was not an object, would opt for the S or the X within reason, right? Why would you not get a Model S Plaid if the payment was the same as the Model 3 or the Model Y? Just a lot of people don't want or can't afford to pay the extra for the Model S or the Model X. So the Model 3 and the Model Y get a lot more, 12 times more, to be more specific, demand every quarter than the Model S and the Model X. It's going to be the same for the Cybertruck. The $60,000 Cybertruck is going to sell a lot more than the $100,000 Cybertruck. The fact that you've sold this many $100,000 Cybertrucks is impressive in and of itself. Also in the news, Morgan Stanley has released a comprehensive analysis on Tesla, evaluating its stock to overweight with a target price of $433 or $430. This is not exactly super new news, but it is being recirculated again today. And Tesla lowers the basic autopilot price by 65% in Canada, cutting the cost from 4,000 Canadian dollars to just 1,400 Canadian dollars in Canada. This 65% price reduction makes the upgrade significantly more accessible for Tesla owners who opted out of the feature at the time of the purchase. So what I believe? I believe this is probably a trial run. Instead of just cutting prices, 50+% on FSD in the US, I think Tesla really is trying to see how much demand this will boost for full self-driving. Does it take the take rate from 10% to 25%? Probably. Probably. And I do think this is a big reason as well why Tesla is almost at $440 today, up 6% now, is because if Tesla does cut prices on FSD, makes it more accessible, that's pretty much pure bottom line profits. And if that happens this year for the US or other important markets, Tesla's profitability could jump a lot more than we currently expect. I will point out, sentiment today is still bullish for Tesla at 58, a little bit lower than yesterday's at 64. Message volume is high today at 56, the same as yesterday, and participation ratio is normal at 54. Option activity in Tesla stock today looks to be on the lower side, which is actually interesting considering the 6% rally. You have only seen 165 different trades totaling $127 million with a positive order value of 69%. That's a very positive number, just kind of low on the overall dollar amount. You can see today short sellers are actually covering on short positions, covering on about 1.18 million shares. You have borrowed shares of 58,000 today, return shares of 1.24 million. So You know, people are covering on short positions, which does not surprise me because on Monday is Trump's inauguration. And that's when the party's probably going to get started. I don't even think we've seen anything yet. I think coming on Monday, we're probably going to get a pretty aggressive by the news situation. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if you have not seen the last video, I think it's critically important that you give this some thought. Again, considering the markets are still very negative, only 41.62% of stocks above their 50-day moving average, you know, it's still almost 60% of markets are in an active decline. That's not great. AI Investor Sentiment Survey shows only 25% of investors believe the stock market will be higher 6 months from now. That's as bad as it gets, essentially. It doesn't really get worse than that. 34% of investors are neutral, and 40.6% are outright bearish, which was a 1 year bearish high. And CNN's Fear and Greed Index is still in fear at 38. It's moved up quite a bit in the last couple of days, but you're not even at neutral yet. So I think there's a lot of room for markets to get back to a more bullish level. And I'll talk about what is coming next for Tesla stock in the next video. So be prepared for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think about all of this information down below in the comment section. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.